What is going on, YouTubeverse? John Stanek from Johnny Radio here, bringing you another Viva La Vinyl classic album review, and it doesn't get much more classic than this, folks. The 1975 masterpiece by Elton John, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. And yes, that's a lengthy title, but a deserved one, because this is Elton and Bernie Taupin at the peak of their powers in the mid-70s, and kind of the apex of their creative classic 70s period, really. And it's a bit of a concept album, if you will, autobiographical, telling the two of their stories. Elton, of course, is Captain Fantastic, and Bernie is the Brown Dirt Cowboy. And I just have to stop and say, it's always amazed me the way they write songs together. Bernie Taupin writes just lyrics with no melody, no music, and then Elton comes behind and puts the melody and music to it. And it's just so incredible because it's backwards from the way most people write, where the music comes first and then lyrics later. But some of the most amazing songs of all time have come out of that collaboration, including Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Your Song, Rocket Man, you name it. But, this record, while it doesn't have those songs on it, it is just incredible, just from the storyline alone, which it's loose. It's not like as strict a storyline as Tommy by The Who, for example, but it starts out with the title track from the record, kind of introducing the two characters, and then goes to the Tower of Babel, which is using some biblical imagery, kind of the book of Genesis, bringing you through the early days of how they lived their lives, and then ends up the end of side A with Someone Saved My Life Tonight, which is one of my top 5 favorite tracks by Elton John. It stands alone outside of a concept record as just one of the greatest ballads ever written, and it's so heartfelt, and there's a darkness to it because it's a real true story of how Elton John was set to be married to a woman at the time, is what he was singing about, and he felt such pressure to do it, and he didn't want to do it, and he almost committed suicide because of it, and he didn't do it because someone saved his life tonight. That's what that song is about. I mean, what a heavy thing to write about, but then you have such a sweet lyric in there, Sugar Bear. Whoever Sugar Bear is, you would think that lyric would come off as kind of silly or cheesy, but it just makes you want to sing along to it. And man, what an amazing, just from the opening piano, that dun 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 dun, you're in for something just epic. And it is, the way it builds and builds, and the production on this record is so good. I would argue maybe the best production on any Elton John album, just the way the drums sound so huge. And of course, that has to do with Nigel Olsson's drumming. I think he's one of the most underrated drummers of the 70s. He always played with Elton and was amazing. Also amazing on my favorite album by Elton John of all time, Tumbleweed Connection, which is right behind me here from 1970. That thing is just a 10 out of 10, A+ all the way through. This, while it's not perfect, there are some songs that I tend to not skip, but maybe not pay as much attention to, like Bitter Fingers and Tell Me When the Whistle Blows. This is still a solid 8 out of 10, just great record that everyone should hear and everyone really should own, because just for Someone Saved My Life Tonight alone, such an incredible song. But then you've got other underrated gems like Better Off Dead and Writing, which is just them singing about how they used to write. And then the last 2 songs on this record, We All Fall in Love Sometimes, which is just beautiful, a gorgeous ballad, going into Curtains. And Curtains, I don't even know where to begin on this. Number one, it's my favorite standalone Elton John song of all time. And I know that's really saying something, but just if you've never heard Curtains, listen to this thing and really listen. I mean, like, set aside everything you're doing and you just get lost in this song. The way it builds, it kind of goes into a trance at the end of the song. The way it's just very hypnotic. It just goes on this refrain over and over again with Elton saying, love me, baby," over and over again. But just the wall of sound that's created with so many background vocals and just a magical sound that this song has. And again, the MVP of this record musically is Nigel Olsson, the drummer. And I just have to briefly say, I played in a band back in the early 2000s that there was a drummer who actually just passed away this week, Keith Warmack, who he also loved this record the same way I did. And when we realized we both loved Curtains equally, we're like, we have to do this. And we would close all our shows, no matter where we played, with that song. And so it's even more special to me now, and of course that Keith has passed. Rest in peace, my friend. Just such an amazing drummer and soul and spirit that you were. But even without all that backstory, such an incredible song, such a masterpiece, one of the best album closers of all time. I could just listen to it endlessly, and it almost seems like it goes on forever, but in a good way, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of songs that fit the bill of just songs that are repetitive, but you want them to be repetitive, and Curtains is that one. And just for that reason alone, I mean, this is a classic. So you have to have Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy in your collection. If you've never heard this before, please go and listen to it now, because it is just awesome. And if you have heard it, let me know in the comments below what you think. What are your favorite songs on this record? For me, it's definitely Curtains and Someone Saved My Life Tonight, the two highlights, end of side A and end of side B. But let me know what you think, and thank you guys so much for watching. We got a lot more reviews coming, top fives every Friday, and so much more. Thank you guys, and as always, Viva La Vinyl. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that jazz. Check out some of my other content that you can see on the screen now. Thank you again for supporting Johnny Radio. Take care, and I'll see you soon.